Hello, dear listener. I have something truly special to share. It's an exclusive invitation to join me in Mexico for an intimate and luxurious 3-day retreat along the beautiful Pacific coast of Zihuatanejo, taking place the weekend of the spring equinox, March 18th through the 20th. There's also an optional day to stay through the 21st for some special ceremonies that are happening in the area for the equinox. But the retreat itself is the 18th through the 20th, really an opportunity not to be missed. And I'm offering one lucky listener a discounted ticket on this weekend that I've just been loving into being actually for several years now as COVID and, everything. But when we conceived of building this place, our home down here, it's really what we envisioned, bringing people down here for retreats, for trainings, because we felt and we knew that this space was special. And as people keep coming down and we keep getting the feedback, how magical it is, we want to share it in a really intentional way. Be working with the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, water, the metaphors of the season. We'll set sight on a new vision for our mothering journey and creating a deeper connection to self and Mother Nature. So to win a discounted ticket, rate and review this show on Apple Podcasts. Screenshot it and DM it to me on Instagram at Dr. Gertrude Lyons. And remember, the most important thing to mother is yourself. Give yourself permission to take a retreat this year. And besides, who said mothers can't go on a spring break? I'll see you there.
This is a Soulfire production. Welcome to Mother. No, it's Mother. Welcome to Mother, the show where we can explore our inner mothers to actualize our greatest selves. Through interviews with incredible guests, live coaching sessions, and my own experiences, we're going to dive deep into embracing feminine values and reparenting ourselves. So be prepared to show up, hold space, and be mothered in a way you never have before, but have always needed. It's time we rewrite the Mother Code. Hi, and welcome to season 2 of my podcast, renamed, so to speak, Mother, but all the same beautiful material around what it really takes, what it looks like, what's possible when we mother ourselves. And today, that's what we're going to talk about. And what does that look like for you if you're new to even considering something like this? And if you're not new to it, it's something in a journey you've been on, I'm hoping you find nuances, new things, and can deepen your journey. Because believe me, I know I am continuously on a path of what it really means to mother myself. It isn't something you just kind of wake up one day and realize you've figured it out. And that's beautiful because, I always think there's a sky there for a reason, right? To show us that there are no limits. And so much is possible for us when we open ourselves to that space. And I think that's one of the things I would say to a woman who hasn't done any growth work, any personal development, anything along those lines at this point is, well, I guess first of all, get ready for a wild ride. But you've already started, because if you're thinking about doing something, or you're listening to this podcast, or you're starting to explore and question in your life, then you're on a growth journey, and I think there's just ways sometimes we don't even realize we've been doing something. But the more consciousness we put toward it, the more consciousness we put toward our own growth and development, the more we'll maximize the return, the more value we'll get. Some research that I think is really cool in this regard is around the fact that when we dedicate ourselves, and this comes from Dr. Judith Wright's Evolating model, that, a predictable path of transformation includes dedicating. So the difference in that is, when you're starting out on a path like this, obviously you're not going to, wake up and say, I'm dedicating myself to my personal growth, my development, and to mothering myself. But along the way, once you start understanding, what this journey is and beginning it, you'll realize that a commitment to it and a dedication to it, that it is a lifelong journey. And I think that's something that could, scare our brains and scare us away in some regards, because our brain's going to go, what are you talking about? Lifelong journey. We're fine. Our brain really doesn't want anything to do with us growing and developing. That's for kind of our inner sense, or this, soul and growth part of ourselves. but there are going to be huge parts of our brain that just want to keep us safe. And safe is the known, and safe is what we've already done, even if we know it's not satisfying. And even if we know it's not healthy for us, our brain is going to send out all sorts of warning signals. And those warning signals look like negative messages to ourselves, or, like that was fine, but this, you can't keep this going, or this isn't really going to be good for you, and things like that. So it's definitely a warning I like to put out there for any of us, whether we're just starting our journey or along the way, because the more we can acclimate to and really partake in this dedicating phase of our transformation, the more impact it'll have. Because once we say, I'm a woman on a journey of transformation, I am a lifelong learner, I'm an evolator, as Judith calls it. I love that term, because evolution is one thing. That's kind of this natural process of the world unfolding, but evolating, that's reaching new heights. That's soaring. And it's really beautiful. But sometimes we want to kind of think we can dabble in it, right? Like I'll do a little personal growth work here or there, and I'll, just kind of buff my nails a little bit on it. And, but most of the time I can just kind of stay how I was. And that'll take you somewhere. It's, if with consistent practice, even an intermittence is still going to have an impact. I'm not going to lie, but just by applying the thinking that this is a lifelong journey, they've studied this with kids. And when kids start off, I think one of the examples they used was when they start off with an instrument, right? Some kids are just going to say, I'm learning, I'm going to learn piano. But the kids that said, and, said to themselves and took on an instrument or something like that and said, instead of saying I play the piano, or, I'm going to learn piano, they said, I'm a musician, I'm a pianist. And there was something really profound about claiming that, because that doesn't have a beginning or end. It's a I am, and I'm going to, then we can say I'm going to be the best at this. But I am a musician. So saying I am a lifelong learner has tremendous impact. And as a matter of fact, the studies say that you're going to get 400 more times out of their practice, right? So when I say I'm a lifelong learner, I'm dedicated to my transformation. That means that every time I have a session, every time, I go to a workshop or a seminar, that it's going to have 400 times more impact on me when I claim that. I mean, that's almost unbelievable. But, we like to prove things with science and studies, and they are. And I will look up and put in the show notes what that study is. But it's pretty profound. So I think particularly if you're starting out, on your journey, to claim that, right? Because there's I think a really mistaken paradigm in our culture that's more around, well, you do this kind of work, you do growth work, or you do therapy or something like that to get fixed, right? And there's kind of this end point. Now, therapy does have a certain aspect to it where, the goal can be to reach a certain level, like a functioning level, if you're really dealing with trauma or some mental illness in some way, you want to reach, what we've determined is kind of more the norm. But that still takes ongoing work to keep yourself there, right? So it's still, no matter what, going to be an ongoing journey. And when we can let go of the paradigm of I'm broken and I need to get fixed, we're going to set ourselves up for not only a more realistic and a more viable path, but one that's going to be way more fulfilling and way more sustaining to us. And all of this is what it means and what it looks like to mother ourselves, right? When we've dedicated ourselves to a growth path as a lifelong learner, that's deeply mothering ourselves. So I think we're looking at this from a few different angles. I hope I'm making my point, right? And then also, for sure when you're starting out, but then you're going to do this in various ways, and you're going to deepen and expand on it, which is establishing a vision for yourself. And this is something, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this after this, is, one of the things that we do in the first week of my Rewrite the Mother Code Mastermind, because, goals without vision is really just a checklist. And I can't tell you how many people I've coached or, come into the right foundation, or even that I've coached, around mothering, like, why am I doing all the things? I'm checking off boxes, whether it's, I graduated from college, and for some it may be then I, found a partner, and then we had children, and then, I've reached these different milestones in my career. I've made a lot of money, or I've found a certain, piece of recognition that I've been really searching for. And yet people will say, like, why aren't I fulfilled? Why is it that I still feel empty, or I still feel like there has to be more than this? Well, two things. First of all, particularly for a woman, goals are never going to feel quite as fulfilling because it's more masculine, right? It's concrete, it's measurable, there's a beginning and an end. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if we don't partner it with a vision, and a vision into which the goals are serving, then for everybody, that's going to feel more empty and more hollow. So a vision, it's not concrete. It isn't as tangible. There aren't or as measurable. And we want to put the measuring on there just to, kind of affirm ourselves and know that we're working towards living into and building on a vision. And when we work with vision at the right foundation, what's really cool about it is you want to look at it almost like facets of a diamond, right? There's this whole diamond and it's beautiful. And we want like a vision for that whole diamond. So I might have a vision, for my whole self. That could be as simple as like one line. For me, one of my visions is I'm a woman of substance. I love, but then it could say a lot more than that. Hi, I'm so excited to share with you my 2024 Spring Equinox Self-Mothering Retreat that's happening this March 2024. And I would love for you not only to consider it, but to attend. But in considering it, hey, just knowing that you would be leaving cold weather, if that's the space that you're in, and coming down to just magnificently beautiful, warm, nourishing place of Zihuatanejo, Mexico. Zihuatanejo meaning land of the goddess women, and coming to really take time for yourself. Okay. And that I am learning more and more isn't just a nice thing to do or something extravagant or something selfish. It's essential. And I really want you to take it seriously, to consider, just think about what would it take for me to go. It's a 5.5-day retreat. Getting from where you are, getting there, landing there, and then being in a space that is all about you. It's all about nourishing you. It's all about tuning into you, using everything around us, the nature, the food, the beautiful people, the rituals, ceremonies. I bring it, we really bring it. And we go deeper and deeper as the days go on, and we release, we let go, we bring in what is nourishing, what is empowering, what is that space of just really divine feminine energy. And we do it in the community of women. It's not for everyone. I will be honest, if the idea of leaving and not making it work, or it's just too hard, not for you. If the idea of, spending that amount of time inwardly focused and going to that level of self-awareness doesn't sound like something you're willing to do or put the time and energy into, then it's not for you. And it's good to know that, right? So this is for people who are serious about what it means to mother themselves, what it means to take time for ourselves, and that gift and what that gift can bring to us. It was originally right after my fall retreat. It filled right up. But now some people, it turns out, are not able to come. So I do have a handful of openings. And if you're listening to this and you're willing to take that step, please reach out to me. We can do a discovery call, or you can put a deposit down. I would love that. And you can do that by going to my website, www.drgertrudelyons, DrGertrudelyons.com. Go to events, and there you go. It'll all be there. There's a beautiful page there for you to explore. I look forward to hearing from you and then seeing you on my spring retreat. But then what helps with then really filling out a vision and really building one that's, kind of maybe a little more accessible and doable is to create a vision in different areas of your life. So I would want to look to creating a vision around my body and my well-being, a vision around my work and my play, and then a vision around myself and kind of my internal landscape, my vision with my family. And family, we can break into family of origin and my vision there, and my family of creation, whether that's something I currently have or something that I want. And then we'll have a vision for relationship with others. And that's our next kind of level out, right? That's close friends, close work relationships, people in that next tier out. From there, we look at a vision for principles and society or community, right? Like where do I want and how do I want to operate in the larger community and world? And then lastly is a vision around spirituality. How do I live my religion more in more depth and more fully, or I may be just exploring spirituality. I may not have any belief in a higher power or something like that, but I adhere to principles. So that's, I don't want the term spirituality to turn anybody off because it is something that's available and open to everybody, right? So what's really cool is when you break it apart like this, then you see that there's a lot of overlapping material. Like, for me, a vision, one of my visions in, let's say self, right? So vision in myself is that I recognize, I acknowledge, and I express my emotions fully, that I am me, all of me, when I'm expressing myself to my fullest. And, but that's something I'm going to want to do in every area of my life, but I may say it more, kind of more directed in a vision in another area. Part of my vision in relationship with my husband or in relationship is that, we tell the truth, that we have no secrets. I want that everywhere in my life, right? I want to be in integrity. I want part of my vision will hold integrity, honesty, truth as a principle. So you'll see principles weave their way through. Something like body, we often think of goals, right? Like I want to weigh a certain amount, or I want to, exercise so many days, but, toward what? And to me, it's having a strong, vibrant, healthy, body, but so that I can do my greatest service. So, if I want to be a vessel and channel of spirit, I want to, live long, not just to live long, but to serve and to be available. And I want to see my body as, I want to be as clean and, rid myself of, I just did a vision don't, which is to put a knot in. So we'll take that one out. But what I do want to do is raise, the vibrations, the awareness to the sensitivity of what I'm feeling, because if I can tune into my body, it's going to guide me toward my emotions and help me, navigate and see, what's happening. If I can see what's happening in my body and experience it, it's going to give me clues and data to what my emotional state is at any given time. So I'm hoping you're getting kind of a picture of what, living a life and establishing a vision for yourself really is. And then, we'll do this in the Mother Code Mastermind, and we'll focus, I still love and encourage everybody to do just what we talked about, a vision in every area of your life. This would fall more in self, right? A vision for mothering myself. So, an aspect in my vision for self means that I fully tend to myself, that I create and internalize a nourishing mother, and what will it look like and what will it take to mother, myself and have this nourishing mother inside. And then I can have goals and action steps. I can have a goal that, I more and more have positive thoughts that permeate me. That I tell the truth about my experience. And I may have action steps then to check in with myself at various points in the day on what my emotional state is. What am I feeling? That if I realize that I haven't, told a truth to somebody, that I have the courage to do that. That's, mothering myself. That when I make mistakes, I have a nourishing, positive parent inside to say, hey, you're going for it. Way to go, and kind of pick yourself up and keep going. So this is the way, that they all work together. So we're going to be, continuing to explore. And oh, by the way, just started, this round of my Rewrite the Mother Code Mastermind on Sunday. And oh my gosh, so beautiful. I'm always amazed at how just the perfect right group of women come together at any given time. And I think what we're talking about here, I realized, a couple women shared that they had never done something like this before. And they really are at the beginning of their growth path. And, it really raised my awareness, but it brought me back to, that first kind of awareness and awakening for myself. And it allowed me to re-experience some of both the like, oh my gosh, like, I can do this, this is possible to explore myself, to, discover and, find a path that's going to lead me more and more to more satisfaction and fulfillment, but to more of me and to more of myself. And personally, that was a pretty big aha moment for me to, remember, but also to have, just feel so honored and privileged to be somebody who is supporting women, to have whether it's their first experience or, they've been doing this for years and years in some form of capacity, but entrusting me, with this some part of their journey, and for me being the beginning kind of awakening part, it was pretty special. And it was also beautiful to do the day before International Women's Day because, oh my gosh, I was able to partake in a webinar called Revolutionary Mothering, and a very diverse, beautiful group of women and activists, advocates from, all walks of life, but particularly looking at the way in which we really, really need more mothering in our world with all of the inequality, the discrepancy, the imbalance that we see in our world around who gets what and resources and care and the, lack of huge disparities and fairness in that. But to hear, some of these leaders talk about how we need to, mother our children, but also really mother the world and mother our communities and, and step in and mother where there's inequities and where things aren't right. So if I look at my vision of integrity and honesty and, following that, then when I see something that's not okay or not right, that I say something, that I do something. That is the campaign for International Women's Day, which is Choose to Challenge. And that is a growth edge for me to step up and speak out. But I'm fully game and way more than willing to and going to. So one of the things for me always in when I'm leading a group or even in a coaching session, that I'm always learning and growing. So I've already been learning and growing through the women who showed up so beautifully and fully at the mastermind. Yes, we started to work on vision, but really wrapping our minds around, the expanded vision that I talk about around that we all mother, and to hear that affirmed by these women who are doing amazing things in the world, to bring it back to we're not going to be any good. We're not going to be available if we don't take care of ourselves. And we really have to put ourselves first. And that can be, drinking water in your day, eating, finding just some of the basic needs, self-care, and giving it to yourself. And it doesn't take that much to add to it, loving thoughts. There's a lot we can do in our minds to bring even more to the simple, basic things that we're giving ourselves. So that's a big aspect, of week one, expanding the definition, right? We all mother. The most important person we need to mother is ourselves, but we do mother our dreams, our careers, our visions, relationships, all these areas of life that I just talked about are areas that we need to mother, and we can. And that's what's so beautiful. And then we can discover, what's our part, and what's our mission, what's our purpose, all of these that, we're going to continue to talk about. But I want to close us out by saying, I'm going to be continuing on, this 8-week journey of this mastermind. Already has me super excited about the fact that we've set the date for the next one. I didn't do that last time. We kind of, weren't sure when we were going to do it, but this time I am sure. So I want to encourage you to consider joining us starting June 7th. So we'll do it Monday evening starting June 7th. And you'll be hearing, more about how this one's going to hopefully kind of ignite something in you that will help you come, to a space that will allow you to join us, because then there'll be the next perfect right group of women that you may be a part of, and a cohort that, we'll have this 8 weeks together. But from what I've been finding, it hasn't stopped there, for many of the women who come together. And having turned the last mastermind into a fully scholarshiped one, it really allowed me to, bring together a beautiful group of women, a very diverse group of women in age, in the mothering continuum, and socioeconomic, race, religion, everything. We've covered a lot of territory, which I'm so, so happy to do. And I will continue to offer scholarships even, in the and the paid ones, and there will be one available for the June 7th. So I encourage you to apply now. I already have live on my website the application and the updated landing page for that. So, I say hop on now, because even if you're not officially starting, your journey starts, because who knows, maybe out of this, you can, close your eyes for a moment and see, what would my life be like if I truly mothered myself? What would be possible? What are some of the things I know I may need to work on, but what's really possible when I fully live my life as a woman, when I fully mother myself, and when I fully live my life for me and about me? Because, that is not a selfish act. That is a beautiful act. So I close with that. I look forward to our next time together, and blessed be. Thank you so much for choosing yourself and taking the time to listen to this podcast. As always, please rate, review, and subscribe to subscribe to Mother. It helps other people who need this message, aka all women. Well, actually, everybody, men included. I'm honored to have you on this journey in mothering yourself. Remember, change is uncomfortable, but it's beautiful, and it starts with us. And if you can't wait until next week's episode, follow me on Instagram and LinkedIn at Dr. Gertrude Lyons, or at my website, drgertrudelyons.com. I'll see you next time.